told you you might actually be addicted to your own pain? Not because you want to suffer, but because your mind and body have learned to crave it, to crave stress, crave worry, and crave self-doubt. No one ever taught you how to release this until now. In this video, I'm breaking down how you can literally be addicted to negative emotions, and more importantly, how to rewire your mind and retrain your body to finally let them go. I'm even going deep into my own personal journey of realizing I was addicted to worry. So much so that when things were going good, I would actually find something to worry about or create it. This is where things like chronic doubt and even self-sabotage come into play. Your body wants the feeling of fear, worry, doubt, and other negative emotions because it is what it has become comfortable with experiencing. Crazy, right? This video isn't just about mindset and the mindset of negative emotions. We talk about the science and soul work needed to release those negative feelings from your body and your mind. Have you ever wondered why your healing journey feels stuck, or why joy feels so damn hard to access? This video will change the way you see yourself forever. And stay tuned until the end, because you will get easy to implement right now tips on releasing negative emotions from your mind and your body. And subscribe to the channel for even more videos and access to free resources to help you claim the life you deserve through healing your lineage, connecting to your soul, and reinventing your mindset. Happy Sunday, my magnificent beings. This one is going to be such a good one because we're talking about how you can actually be addicted to negative feelings and emotions, how that shows up and showcases in your body and in your mind, and how you actually, in order to break these cycles, need to tackle it from both dimensions, from both changing your mindset, but also allowing your body to release these negative emotions and start to train your body to feel something different. Now, I want to say that this conversation is sparked and inspired by a conversation that we had in one of the last group coaching and mentorship calls. And I talked about this concept. And in fact, one of our own members, Christina, mentioned that she is likely feeling attached, addicted to the feeling of needing to be overwhelmed, right? And how that's affecting her. And now I want to start with actually telling you a story of the first time I realized I was addicted to the sensation and feeling of worry. So as you all know, I love walking Cody. I love giving him these beautiful long walks. And this was actually when we were living in Brooklyn. So I was living in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. I've always wanted to live near water, which is so intriguing and interesting. So I lived close enough to the water that we would walk there pretty much every single day, sit. He loved it. He loved to look out to the water. It took about like 30 minutes to walk to the water because we would go this roundabout way, 30 to 40 minutes. And I realized that when we got close enough to the water, I realized the entire walk, I was ruminating on a scenario that never happened, nor likely was going to. I was basically ruminating on a scenario that I was predicting could potentially have some possibility of happening in my life, simply because I enjoyed the feeling of being worried. And it sounds crazy to say that I enjoyed the feeling of being worried. But when we think about negative emotions and the addiction that we could potentially have to negative emotions, this is exactly what it is. Think about the concept of you right now are awakened. You want to change your mindset. you realize that in order to have the reinvented life you want, you have to reinvent your mind. You have to release yourself from these limiting beliefs. You have to release yourself from these doubts. You have to transform into thinking a different way to have a different outcome and to have the reinvented life you want. You know that that's the case. But for decades, you have been thinking a certain way. And that thinking pattern that you've had that either is attached to worry, to lack, to scarcity, to the desire to be loved by others, whatever it is connected to, that pattern of thinking has been your thought process for decades, which means that your mind is wired and programmed to think that way. And that's what we talk a lot about, right? When we're shifting our mindset or desire to shift our mindset, the reason why it can be so hard, and it can be a process that takes some time, is because your brain is wired, literally wired to think that way. And you have to change the wires, you have to change the patterns, and that can take some time. But in these decades, not only has your mind become wired to thinking that way, your body has become acclimated to being flooded with the neurotransmitters, with the feeling, with the desire of negativity. So this is very similar to when you become addicted to drugs. When you become addicted to drugs, not only are you flooding your brain with this high, with this amazing sense of like euphoria, but you're flooding your body with that as well. And it's the same if it's a negative state or a negative addiction. You are not only flooding your mind with those negative thoughts and you are creating and reinforcing the pattern, but you're flooding your body with the same feeling. And your body becomes addicted to having that feeling. So at this moment, I had realized that I had just spent 30 to 40 minutes thinking about something that was never going to transpire, simply because I was addicted to the feeling of worry. The feeling of worry in my body was my normal state. And if I didn't have that normal state, that feeling of worry, then I would create it in order to get it, because my body and my mind was so used to being in that state. So when we think about transformation, when we think about reinvention, it's almost kind of like thinking about it from two different angles, the mind and the body, right? You have to think about, how do I change the thought patterns? How do I think a new way of thinking so that my mind can rewire and that these more positive thoughts just become the natural state? But you also want to think about, how am I tackling it from the body perspective? Because my body has also become so addicted to this negativity, so addicted to this feeling within it, that you have to then show your body a different way. And the way that you show your body a different way so that it can acclimate to something different is that you actually put your body in situations where you're feeling the state of euphoria from goodness, not from negativity. And that's why movement is so powerful, right? That's why yoga is so powerful. That's why meditation is so powerful. That's why sound baths and Reiki and energy healing is so powerful. It's because it's allowing for you in that moment to feel a different state. And when you feel a different state within your body, because you have transitioned or moved that negativity out, you've replaced it with something positive, and you're feeling that euphoria in that moment, you're flooding your body with what it feels to feel good. You're almost kind of training your body to feel the sense of goodness, so that when it's not in that state of goodness, it's almost kind of like, wait a second, but I had that before. I know that this is my normal, this negative is my normal, but that other state of being actually felt way better. How do I get back there? And that's how these practices simply become a part of what you do. These practices simply become who you are because you have now allowed your body to feel something different. You've allowed your body to sense a different state. You've allowed your body to start the process of acclimating to a different way of being with a different emotion, flooding it and making it feel so good. Because your soul wants you to feel joy, fulfillment, freedom, fun. So as soon as you start tapping into what that feels like in your body, what that looks like in your mind, those thoughts in your mind, your soul is going to attach to it and be like, oh, I want that shit all day, every day. Give it to me all day, every day. I want every single moment of it. I don't ever want to be without it. This feels like joy and bliss. So it is going to want to desire that state, but you have to open yourself up to it. So when you're thinking about, am I potentially addicted to a negative state, addicted to a negative emotion? Likely the answer is yes, just because you have lived in that state for so long. But then when you think about your strategies, your guidebook, your toolbox to transforming and transitioning that, I want you to think about how you can tackle it from so many different ways that involve the transition and retraining of your mind and your thoughts, but also involve the movement of these negative emotions out of your body and showing your body new ways of being. Showing your body and flooding your body with these positive emotions so that it just desires it. It wants it. So you always have to be thinking about how can I show myself a different way of living so that it gets that flavor and gets that taste and it just accumulates that desire for that all the time. It's just like the first time you had that chocolate ice cream and then you were just like, I want this every day, all day. Think of it in the same concept. All right, y'all. So your goal is to really think about, is there an emotion, a negative emotion that I feel addicted to? What's the mindset of that addiction? What are the thoughts that are attached to that addiction? And what does it feel like in my body when that negativity is present? And how can I start to move that out of my body and show my body a different way of being? And underneath this video, I'm going to have different kinds of practices that are more body centric, right? More about helping to move energy through your body that you can start to research and you can start to think about. All right, y'all, I hope that you have enjoyed this. You might feel an addiction to negativity, but know that you can transform that. And in that transformation lies your reinvented life. Thinking, dang, I am so addicted to my negative emotions. Yeah, I get you on that for sure. And it is so important for you to remember your reinvention won't come from just thinking alone. It comes from feeling something new and teaching your mind and body that peace, joy, and freedom are your new normal. If this video hit home, then drop a comment below and tell me, what negative emotion are you so ready to release for good? And if you want to dive deeper, then click the link in the description to join my free email newsletter, where I give details on my NeuroSoul Method, which is all about reinventing your mind and connecting to your soul's desires so you can have the life you deserve starting right now. You'll learn about free events and upcoming coaching to start retraining your nervous system and making joy your new addiction. You are not broken. You're just healing, and I'm right here with you for that journey.